On the southern outskirts of Ezhou, a city in central China's Hubei province, a giant apartment-style building overlooks the main road. But it is not for office workers or families. Wait a minute, not for offices? Not for families? Not for people? Then for what? At 26 stories, it is by far the biggest single-building pig farm in the world, with a capacity to slaughter 1.2 million pigs every year. That's totally insane. The 26-story pig tower in China is ready to slaughter 1 million pigs every year. But do you think this holds the future for a better nation? It is China's response to the country's insatiable need for pork, the most popular animal protein. The new skyscraper-sized farm began production in early October when the facility's owner, Hubei Zhongxing Kaiwei Modern Farming, admitted its first 3,700 sows. Zhongxing Kaiwei is new to the pig industry and farming. It began as a cement investor, owning several cement plants in regions such as Hubei and Henan. The company stated that it had planned to invest in ready-to-cook food production, but changed its mind due to a collapse in China's cement and building industries. According to Jin Lin, the company's general manager, the company recognized modern agriculture as a potential area and an opportunity to create the pig farm using its building materials. The first sows arrived at the monstrous 26-story high-rise towering over a rural town in central China in late September. Hundreds of female pigs were transported at a time in industrial lifts to higher floors where the hogs would live for insemination through maturity. In China, where agricultural land is scarce, food production is behind, and pork supply is a strategic need. This is pig farming. The pigs are monitored on high-definition cameras by uniformed technicians in a NASA-like command center inside the structure, which mimics the monolithic housing blocks prevalent across China and stands as tall as the London Tower that houses Big Ben. Each level functions as a self-contained farm for the various stages of a young pig's existence, with areas for pregnant pigs, farrowing piglets, nursing areas, and fattening hogs. The pig farm features 2 buildings, according to statements on the company's official WeChat account. A similar-looking, equal-scale building is nearing completion behind the operational site. When fully operational, they will cover an area of 800,000 square meters and have a capacity of 650,000 animals. The 4 billion won farm features gas, temperature, and ventilation controls, and animals are fed through more than 30,000 automatic feeding stations, managed by a central control room. Food for the pigs is transported by conveyor belt to the top level, where it is collected in massive tanks that supply more than 1 million pounds of food each day to the floors below. A high-tech feeding machine automatically dispenses the meal to the hogs based on their life stage, weight, and health. Regardless of it being the world's biggest single-building pig farm that has opened in Hubei province, critics say it will increase the risk of more animal disease outbreaks. What are your thoughts on how this project would affect China and its people? According to reports, pig manure will be cleaned and utilized to make biogas, which will be used for power generating and heating water on the farm. Workers will have to go through many rounds of disinfection and testing before being allowed to enter, and they won't be able to leave until their next break, apparently once a week. It's unfathomable, a farmer in his 50s who lives in the village across the road from the farm told The Guardian. He expressed concern that the farm's proximity could cause an aroma problem once it is fully operating. The Chinese Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs said in 2019 that high-rise breeding facilities would be permitted. The news that has been hailed by investors, including Kinky Smart Agriculture, claims that the high-rise production model is more efficient, biosecure, and ecologically benign. High-rise pig farms are more intelligent than traditional breeding methods, with a high level of automation and biosafety. At the same time, it has the advantage of conserving land resources, said Zhu Zhengyong, a professor at the Institute of Animal Science of the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences, adding that their popularity has increased following the ASF outbreak. As of 2020, 64 multi-story farms were planned on under construction in the southwestern Sichuan province alone. Inevitably, the pig farm industry is heading towards a highly automated and intelligent future, and as a result, the standards and threshold for pig farmers will become higher, Zhu noted. Other scientists, however, believe that large-scale intensive farming increases the possibility of ever larger disease outbreaks. Intensive facilities can reduce interactions between domesticated and wild animals and their diseases. But if a disease does get inside, it can spread like wildfire among animals, said Matthew Hayek. an assistant professor of environmental studies at New York University. I've heard a lot about biosecurity, efficiency, and sustainability. For US indoor facilities, we hear the same stories. However, there is very little evidence that these intensive facilities actually provide any of those benefits, he said. Dirk Pfeiffer, chair professor at City University of Hong Kong's One Health program, agreed, saying the higher the density of animals, the greater the risk of infectious, pathogen spread, and amplification, as well as the potential for mutation. The probably more important question will be whether this type of production is consistent with the need to shift away from meat consumption, given the seemingly unstoppable threat of devastating climate change, he said. It's good to see when things appear to be developing around us, but something that breaks hearts is small-scale businesses. These big projects take nothing but the living income of small-scale businessmen. What, according to you, is a better way to tackle such diplomacies? China has a long history with pigs. Many rural Chinese households reared backyard pigs for decades, seeing them as valuable livestock, not only for meat, but also for manure. Pigs are also culturally significant as a symbol of riches, because pork was traditionally offered only on rare occasions. No country today consumes more pork than China, which consumes half of the world's pig meat. Pork prices are routinely monitored as an indicator of inflation and are carefully maintained through the country's strategic pork reserve, a government meat stockpile that may stabilize prices when supplies are depleted. The government hopes that consolidation will make prices more predictable and less volatile in the long run, said Pan Shengjun, Executive Director of Rabo Research's Food and Agriculture Division. That's the ultimate goal. Mega farms are cropping up in rural villages where private farmers once dotted the landscape. Hubei Zhongxing Kaiwei chose to use a neighboring land and apply its building expertise to branch out into a business with greater growth prospects 3 years ago, as the property and infrastructure sectors began to decline. It spent $600 million to construct the high-rise pig farms, with another $900 million set aside for a neighboring meat processing plant. According to the corporation, its cement history is beneficial in pig rearing. It constructed a reinforced concrete high-rise using existing personnel. It uses waste heat from the cement mill to give the pigs hot showers and warm drinking water. According to Hubei Zhongxing Highway, this will allow the pigs to grow quickly while using less feed. Small backyard pig growers are finding it difficult to compete on that scale. Qiao Yuping, 66, and her husband rear 20 to 30 pigs per year in Liaoning Province, northeastern China. She claimed that when pork prices decreased last year, they lost money. She said it was difficult to ignore the influence of mega farms on animal feed and vaccine prices. Everything has gone up in price, added Mrs. Kiao. How can we possibly not be affected? And with this thought or question, we have come to the end of today's video. We'll see you in the next one.